Adam Friedman, Rivals.com, national recruiting analyst and rankings director for Rivals, here with Jed May of UGAsports.com. We want to talk about five-star David Sanders, one of the many big-time visitors that was at Georgia this weekend. He came back from his visit at Georgia. I mean, I can't count how many times he's visited the Athens campus now, but it sounds like academics were the main focus of this visit for Sanders and his family. What have you heard about how well this weekend went for Georgia?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a guy like David Sanders on campus, it's huge. And I think, and this is not just David, but other guys as well. It's starting to get to that point with these 25 guys where it's that nitty gritty time where you talk about academics, where you talk about, the guys who are on campus are the guys who you're going to be playing with. So it's not surprising to me to hear that. And like you said, he's been to Athens so many times. He's getting to know this stuff. His parents are getting to know this stuff. And I mean, yeah, it's no big shock that Georgia's one of the top, probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 teams battling for him right now.
I would probably put them closer to number 2 or one or 2 in his recruitment at this point. I, of course, have that future cast in for Georgia. I put that in back in August. We'll see if that holds true. I'm not sure how confident I am in that pick right now, but still a little ways to go for this recruitment to play out. It really feels like Georgia's relying on that relationship Sanders has with Stacy Searels, the offensive line coach. He was his first offer when he was back at North Carolina, and Sanders was in 8th grade. He's talked about that a number of times, and Sanders has grown really close with Searels and a number of other coaches on the staff at Georgia, and plenty of players and other recruits that are there. It seems like they're really hoping those relationships win out in the end, but this is, as we're seeing with many high-end recruits, highly ranked recruits, this is becoming more of a business decision, and it sounds like that could end up being holding more weight, I guess, as we get towards the finish line in Sanders' recruitment. Do you feel the same way, Jed?
It could be, and I think, like you said, it's more and more of a thing for more and more of these guys. And Georgia's pitch is, hey, like, there will be NIL opportunities for you, especially when you're a highly ranked and B charismatic guy like David Sanders is. But Georgia's pitch is, hey, you come here and make the money on the back end. They have a digital ticker thing in the recruiting lounge that just got first round pick salaries, career earnings just playing on a loop. So it's hard to ignore that when you're in Athens. And when you're Georgia, you've got recent production. You've got Broderick Jones, who went in the first round. You've got Amarius Mims, who is probably about to go in the first round. Andrew Thomas is another recent example. So all these guys, basically, that David Sanders could follow in the footsteps of, hey, come to Georgia, put your 3 or 4 years in, and then go be a first round pick. So that's, I think, the pitch Georgia has, that you're going to make the money on the back end. Will it work? Obviously Clemson is another school that is involved in his recruitment. They're not necessarily the, throwing NIL money around to freshmen either. So, that could mean something there. But yeah, like you said, it's more and more of a factor for these guys, especially the highly ranked guys like David Sanders.
Yeah. You mentioned Clemson, and I could be putting my foot in my mouth with the business decision coming into play here as we get towards the finish line, because Clemson is really pulling on, as David said when I spoke to him for his top 6 interview, the heartstrings. He was almost a lifelong Clemson fan. He talked about watching the national championship game and watching Clemson, begging his parents to stay up and watch the game when he was little. So Clemson really pulling on those relationships as well as we move further into the process. It seems like it's getting more to be more of a Clemson and Georgia battle, with Tennessee right there as well. He mentioned to me that Tennessee was the team he was most excited about coming out of visits earlier this year. The Vols get him on campus in April. I believe it's April 12th they get him on campus. Alabama gets him on campus this coming Saturday. That's March 23rd, I believe. So we'll see what the Crimson Tide can do with David. They've got some ground to make up now after the coaching change. And of course, there's South Carolina with the only official visit scheduled for Sanders right now. I believe that is in mid-April. And then Ohio State is still in the hunt. They're going to get an official visit at some point. We're just waiting to hear what date they're going to lock that in for. But no decision date scheduled right now for Sanders. He's looking at a late summer decision date. And I think, of course, Georgia will be a hat on the table along with the other 5 schools in his top 6 there. So Jed May of UGA Sports, thank you so much for your time. I'm Rivals.com national recruiting analyst and rankings director Adam Friedman. Please remember to subscribe to the Rivals.com YouTube channel and follow all of the Rivals social media accounts. And of course, you can find all of our content on Rivals.com.